Imagine waking up every morning in a place where oxygen levels are only half of normal, and every breath feels slightly incomplete. This is not science fiction. This is daily life for people living in extreme high-altitude regions such as the Tibetan Plateau, the Andes Mountains, and parts of the Himalayas. At these elevations, often above 4,000 meters, the air pressure drops dramatically, meaning your lungs receive far less oxygen with every breath. For newcomers, this environment can feel shocking, exhausting, and even dangerous, because the human body is naturally designed to function at sea-level oxygen concentration. When oxygen is reduced by nearly 50%, the first thing most people experience is shortness of breath. Simple actions like walking, talking, or climbing stairs suddenly feel like intense exercise. This condition is known as hypoxia, where the body's tissues don't receive enough oxygen to function properly. Symptoms include headaches, dizziness, nausea, and extreme fatigue. For some, sleep becomes difficult because breathing slows at night, causing repeated awakenings as the body struggles to maintain oxygen flow. However, people who are born and raised in these regions show something extraordinary: biological adaptation. Over generations, their bodies have evolved to survive in low oxygen environments. For example, native high-altitude populations often have larger lung capacity, higher red blood cell efficiency, and improved oxygen transport systems. Unlike visitors, their bodies do not overproduce red blood cells, which can cause dangerous blood thickening. Instead, their genetics allow them to use oxygen more effectively, even when there is very little available. Daily life in such places requires careful planning and adaptation. Physical labor is done slowly to avoid oxygen depletion. People take frequent rests, and traditional lifestyles are designed around conserving energy. Diets are often rich in iron and carbohydrates, helping the body produce and sustain energy under oxygen stress. Even children grow up learning how to pace themselves, understanding that rushing can lead to altitude sickness. Modern visitors, including tourists and scientists, must undergo acclimatization to survive safely. This process can take days or weeks, allowing the body to gradually adjust to reduced oxygen levels. Doctors often recommend ascending slowly, drinking plenty of water, and avoiding alcohol. In severe cases, people may require supplemental oxygen, especially during sleep or physical exertion. Without proper precautions, prolonged exposure can lead to serious conditions like high-altitude pulmonary edema, HAPE, or cerebral edema, both of which can be life-threatening. Despite the harsh conditions, these regions are full of life and culture. Communities thrive with strong traditions, spiritual practices, and a deep respect for nature. The environment shapes their mindset. Patience, resilience, and endurance become essential survival skills. Living where oxygen is scarce teaches people to value balance, awareness, and self-control in ways most low-altitude societies never experience. Interestingly, scientists study these populations to better understand human limits and potential medical breakthroughs. Research into high-altitude adaptation helps doctors treat patients with lung disease, heart failure, and oxygen-related conditions. Athletes also train in low-oxygen chambers to boost endurance, mimicking high-altitude stress to increase performance at sea level. What is a survival necessity for some becomes a performance advantage for others. Living in a place where oxygen is half of normal is not just a physical challenge, it is a psychological one. The constant awareness of breath changes how people move, think, and live. Every action becomes intentional. Every breath matters. It is a powerful reminder that human life depends on invisible elements we often take for granted. In these extreme environments, oxygen is not just air, it is life itself.